This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Well, hello. How are we all? Well, caught me by surprise a little bit. Caught me with my my pants down, as they say. I wasn't expecting Leicester to do that. Although you guys are lucky, because talking about being caught with your pants down, I can see Brad in the in the green room getting changed as I was running that intro video. So not a sight that you want to see. Not a sight that you want to see. Hey. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. You can catch us now on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and in the Twitter sphere at Leicester TID. And if you are on the old YouTube, please give us a subscribe, subscribe, notify button. If there's a button, press it. You know I like to have my buttons pressed. Press it for me, please. You make an old man very, very happy. Well, we've done it. We've got him in. I mean, as I say, typical Leicester, never do what you expect them to. Just like this man, getting changed in the background there, Bradley. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. This is something that we've been on alert for a while.
And it still caught me out.
Yeah, it did. I got all the notifications come through at once and checked it and just made sure sent, and then we got straight onto here. This is where we are, literally about 20 minutes after the news broke. Patson Daka. As you said, I could have this moment, Chris. First signing, Daka will do nicely. There we go. I've got that out of the way. Bad jokes, I've got that out of the way. So if anyone's tuning in now, you've missed a shit joke, you can keep watching. It's fine.
That's going to be up there with yes, indeed, isn't it? I mean, you know, when he gets his first goal, you just know Sky are going to use that.
Yeah, they're going to use that as the headlines.
Yeah, so it caught us out because, I mean, he's been confirming it for days.
Yes.
And Doug, just say good evening to Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. Great signing for Leicester City. Could be one we live to regret not going for. Absolute bargain. Two, we'll give great competition for Vardy and Iheanacho. Indeed, he will. Doug, remind me which team you support. I do apologise. There's so many people on there. Have a feeling it might be the red half of Liverpool, but you'll kill me if it's Man United. But then again,
you can get it wrong altogether.
You know, and he loves your dad jokes, Brad.
Nah, you gotta love them. You gotta love them.
You're taking over from me. You won't need me soon. Yeah, we've been. Like I say, he's been talking to fans, although he didn't. Yes, well, I was right. Liverpool, because you were linked with him. And do you need a striker though, Doug? You know, that's the question.
Maybe they do. I mean, eventually that front three is going to have to get broken up. He would have been a nice addition for him. Yeah. They're not getting him though. So.
Well, hang on. You're not getting him for at least probably 2 seasons. Then you know.
Well, no, they're not getting him till January, and every paper will be linking him with a 36 million cut price deal because everybody leaves last month. price deal, don't they? After about 6
They,
months,
they do. Harry Maguire, 80 million, that was cut price. Chilwell, 50 million, that was cut price. But hey, we're talking about players coming into the club. Yeah, like you say, like I said, he was confirming it back to a lot of fans. I'm on my way, as the Proclaimers once sang. 23 million. He looks, like Doug said there, he looks an absolute, well, if he carries on doing what he's doing, bargain and great buy.
Yeah, he really does. And this deal kind of came out of nowhere in an ascension. There was, he's not a name I'm familiar with. I'll be honest with you. I had to get the old spectacles out and do a bit of research on him. His name rang a bell, which is always a promising sign compared to other signings we've had in the past. It rang a bell. I've heard that name mentioned a few times, but I don't know much about him. And he was wanting to come to the Premier League, and in this time, he was obviously heavily linked with Osona Edouard from Celtic, and then obviously that deal got a little bit leggy. That deal was kind of getting like, okay, Celtic, you're getting a bit petty. There was something about a Brendan Rodgers clause or whatever it was. They were asking for a fee, an extra, something ridiculous like that, and Leicester moved quickly, yet again, to probably find a lesser known name with quite a rootable CV. Like you said, he was clearly wanted by the big boys in the Premier League, and I know a lot of fans, people that we've had on this channel, and people whose channel me and you have both been on, who have asked us about these rumours and are jealous and excited to see him in the Premiership. Jealous because it's not them that are signing him, but they're excited, and they've given us a lot of congratulations on getting such a shrewd signing in. So it's interesting. And yet again, Leicester getting in a good player on the cheap. It could, if it works out, it's a astute bit of business.
Amondi, good evening. You see, I do this all the time. I might as well just do shows at night, mightn't I? Or just sit here in the dark. Good afternoon, Amondi. Yep, another smart buy from Leicester City, respect. And Josius, hi guys. Is that pronounced properly? It's as close as I'm going to get. Brad's moving in close to the camera.
Yeah. Josius.
Hoseus.
Just call you Jay from now on, if that's right, until you tell us how to pronounce it, mate.
If it's Jose, how's your brother Hose B? Anyway, dad joke. If you can do dad jokes, I can do dad jokes. I tell you who he reminds me of, and we're going to come and look. I know you're not a fan of stats, but we'll have a look at his stats in a minute. He does remind me a little bit of Musa, and I just hope that he doesn't get used in the same way, as in not used for what we bought him for.
No, hopefully not. But you'd assume that with Brendan being integrated with Leicester, he's been here for a while now. In managers' terms, he has been here quite a long time. With the way managers seem to come and go from the Premier League, we've seen about 37 sackings over two seasons around the Premiership. It feels like there's been that many managers going and getting linked. It's probably because Spurs are trying to hire 97 of them. I don't know, but a lot of manager talk. So he knows what he was after. He knew the sort of player he was after, and it was very quick, wasn't it? Like we said, that Osona, however you say his first name, Edouard deal broke down, and very quickly. This was in action. This wasn't just like something Leicester were looking at him. It was, okay, move on. Option B, let's go for Daka then. Let's see if we can get him in. And they've worked tirelessly, and they've worked quickly, and they've worked hard. I mean, I've just watched, whilst you were pairing all the clip arts that you've got there, mate, of him. And I watched his 8-minute interview he's had with Leicester on the Leicester City website. And it's promising signs. I mean, he's come out and said, does my style of football suit the Premiership? Possibly not, but I'm already here training, and I'm going to adapt myself so it works for the Premiership, and that's always good. He's not one of them that's going, oh no, I'll make it work. I'll show you that I can play like this in the Premiership and it'll work. He already knows that he might struggle, whether that's with the physicality or whether it's the way he scores his goals. He knows he's not going to get them clear opportunities in the Premiership. And he's already thinking one step ahead. You know, in games where it might work, sure, but I'm already ready to learn and get it working. So when the season goes, I'm ready to go and I'm scoring for Leicester and I'm taking them up.
Should we call you Sergio Oliveira here?
Well, I can't tell you about that. There's a birth story, but I can't tell you about that. Corpse.
If only you told me, I could have made sure, realised I'd got a star on the channel. JJ,
well, now I've rumbled, I'm gonna have to go now.
You're going to start. Well, yeah, you're going to double your wages. Yeah. JJ, good evening. Welcome along to Patson. Well, you got it there, Patson. I mean, I don't think that gives us three, main strikers in Vardy, Iheanacho, and Patson. I mean, yeah, we've got the Maddison and the Harvey Barnes who are coming in. But I'm sorry, if you guys, hi, if you are on Facebook, stick your name at the end so we can give you a shout out. Otherwise, we don't know if you're not logged into StreamYard who you are. So it's just nice to say hello to you. But we've got, let's say, the three main strikers, and I don't think it's a case of anybody's going to be knocked down because, we've said before we've got a lot of games coming up as we did at the start of this season, and we saw, got a few injuries and we were buggered. And I think having the option of the three, I think we'll see a lot of rotation. And let's be honest, with respect to Jamie Vardy, as I say, absolutely love the guy to bits. I'd have his children for him. But and then sue Colleen Nolan at the same time. But not Colleen, Colleen Rooney. Apologies to Colleen Nolan there. I've just sued her for the wrong reason. But he is getting on. He is going to be that little bit older. He's not going to get over injuries as quickly as we saw at the end of this season, And I think having the option of the three is for the number of games we're playing, good.
Yeah, it's great. Our revelation, as it was, or realization from last season, taking into account everything that went on and the way last season had to be run with everything that's going on in the world, it was that was probably the one telling point. If you said, where did Leicester sort of struggle? We had a limited number of quality players, and that's no disrespect to the players that are at Leicester. I'm not saying that they're not quality, but what I mean by that is we had a few games where, if you compared the bench, whilst we had players that we knew we'd rely on to come on, you didn't look at anybody necessarily and think, there's your game changer. Unless it was a returning Maddison on the bench or a returning Jamie Vardy on the bench from an injury, unless it was one of them circumstances, you weren't, in the greatest respect, you weren't looking at the likes of Mendy, and unfortunately, he seems to have fallen in that category, Dennis Pratt as well, who may or may not be a Fox come the start of the season. Yeah. Hopefully he's utilised a bit better. But that's for a different story if we need to break it at any point. That you kind of felt that, they'll come on and do a job and we can trust them, but they're not going to suddenly take the game to the next level. And like you said, with the rotation, with us being in Europe, the FA Cup to defend, the League Cup, which I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a trophy that we kind of go at again this season, considering the last two seasons. So there's going to be a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of game times. And like you said, despite the fact that Jamie Vardy will forever be a Leicester legend, he's an absolute hero at the club, and he'll want to play as many games this season, he's not stupid either. He knows, whether he likes it or not, as Thanos would say, it's inevitable that eventually his game time's going to get less at the Premier League level, and he's going to have to take a back seat. And if Nacho can take his purple patch from the last 3 months into pre-season and get working with Daka, I'm sure Brendan Rodgers will find a way to complement all three of them so they get the game time they need to become the future of Leicester.
Yeah. Have you just, I know he's pointing at the badge there, which I'm not sure when it's a new shirt where my badge is. It's there behind the microphone, but look at that smile. Just listen to you talking there. I mean, Mad Jason, good afternoon. Welcome, Daka. Facebook user, welcome to Daka. Yeah, other Facebook user, you mentioned Robin Groson's there. We'll come on to that at the end. We'll just concentrate on Saturday. And it was a quick one. I mean, yeah, I know, like you say, you could say it's dragged out, but not by Leicester standards. You know, like you say, you said earlier, you know, Eduardo was falling through. We all thought that was going to be on, didn't we? You know, we thought that was all done and dusted with the Brendan connection. As soon as they saw that was struggling, we went and got this guy. I mean, first of all, the guy's name's forgotten me who does the transfers at Leicester, our director of football. What's he called?
Oh, you throw me under the bus there in remembrance.
The guy who, well, he always takes a hell of a lot of stick.
John
you
Rudkin.
know.
John Rudkin.
John Rudkin. Well done, John. You know, you've looked at that, and I'm not just saying it's just him, but he's looked at it and thought, Eduardo's falling down, maybe. Let's get and whether they'd got Patson in mind then or not, but they didn't hang about. They went and got him. Better for you, or would you have preferred Eduardo?
I think it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because I think they both possess qualities that that they could have brought to Leicester and probably done the same demeanour. They're both reportedly very quick strikers. Both not playing in the most high caliber of competitive leagues in comparison to the German league, the Italian league, and the Premiership. But you have to take, you know, as we famously say, you have to beat what's in front of you. So both young, both got good scoring records, both rated highly. And I think maybe Leicester have done a better deal in getting Daka. He must have been on the list, like you said. I don't think this was something where Leicester threw all the eggs into the Eduardo deal or Edward deal. I'm going to butcher his name so many times.
Eduardo.
Yeah, he's not a Leicester player, so it doesn't matter. Well, I think obviously the Brendan connection was strong. It was something that was rumoured last year that didn't happen. It looked like it was going to happen this year. But with how quick they've transpired from letting that deal go, and it sounds like Leicester let it go. They had enough of the negotiations. They were getting messed around, so they let it go. And to not just, like I said, it's not like they did the homework. We've had to then see somebody look at him, talk to him, this, and now we're at a point where there's a possibility of transfer. We was literally days, you know, a reliable source, Fabrizio or Fabrinho. I'm butchering names. I'm sorry. You know who I'm
like. You make me look good, mate. You're making me look good.
Right? I'm good at doing that, mate. For you, I'm good at doing that.
Hey, why do you think I have you on?
Yeah, I know, right? Who's a very reliable source on Twitter on breaking transfers. Obviously, he gets them when you hear a rumor of a player and he tweets it out, you tend to believe it more than any other source.
Yeah.
And Leicester moved really quickly. It was like the Eduardo deal wasn't even confirmed as off before he was reporting that Leicester were moving to Daka. You know,
I mean, two worries for me here is a lot of people are saying sort of, well, Edward, you got me at it now. Edward, that's it, Edward. Let me get it right. Edward is coming from Scottish football. All joking aside, we know how shit that can be.
Just
Austrian league, but you know, you could question, but we had, you know, Christian Fuchs originally was from the Austrian league. I know we came from Germany in the end, but you know, the guy he's played in the Europa League. He's played Champions League qualifying. He's played in Champions League. He's played at the top level in Europe.
Yeah, he has. He has got the experience that is actually necessary in someone of such a young age. I mean, he had a prolific goal-scoring career. And we remember some of these players that are making the big news, like your Erling Haalands and whatnot. If you look at players like that over the years, they started their careers there and didn't get their valuations that they get now until they moved to a German or an Italian league or a big name side. Teams like Borussia Dortmund and that pick these players up from these leagues and make them into 100 million players, 100 million pound players. And Leicester have been doing that sneakily without people really comparing them to the two. I'd like to see someone go, you know, where did Haaland come from? I don't personally don't know his background. I think he came from a lower league and they've got him, or whatever the situation is. But that example you could use throughout history of clubs like that, taking a player from nowhere who actually had a very good record, and then turning them into stars, making them stars and making them worth, like I said, in excess of 100 million. And Leicester could potentially have done that again. In this day and age, I think it says a lot about not just Leicester and how far they've come as a club and where they stand in a player's mind on terms of matching their achievements. Because Leicester have had to sell something to Daka to say we can match the ambition you've got by saying that we beat Liverpool to this transfer. Because like you said, Liverpool don't necessarily need to strengthen in that area, and we've beat them to a transfer. How serious were they about it? Well, they were serious enough to get linked with him, and by reliable sources. And
how much of that is agent talk? But I know what you mean, though. I do know what you mean. I mean, just looking there, he came from FC Leifering, I think it was. He played a season there after coming through Salzburg under 19s. But I mean, I'm just going to have a look at his form here. And on Monday, I will come back to the point that you raised before. And I was going to come back to his stats there. But I mean, the guy is a goal machine, isn't he? I mean, I'm just looking here. Last season, 2021, 26 matches, 27 goals, 4 assists, and 3 yellows, no red, which is good. The season before, 2019-20, 31 matches, 24 goals, 6 assists, 1 yellow. I mean, if he can do that, and JJ, you're quite right. You know, look where Vardy's come from. I'm not, I'm not dismissing the fact that it's Austria, but I mean that guy. At the end of the day, he's got the one thing that matters that you want when you're looking at a striker. He knows where the net is. Did we have that when we bought Mark De Vries? Did we have that when we bought Elvis Hammond? Did those guys even know what a football net looked like? I mean, this guy, I just hope we use him right and we don't waste him a bit like Musa. But I think he's going to get us a hatful, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and look, every signing, no matter where you get them from, comes with a side of gamble on it, doesn't it? I mean, look at a certain Timo Werner. Smashed the German leagues, was sought after by Liverpool and Chelsea, hasn't really got going, and kept up his non-existent scoring record yesterday, didn't he? Against the English. He didn't do well against us yesterday, thankfully. So it does always come with that doubt, and you're always going to think of past players. Well, we've spent the same sort of money on, and go, well, they didn't exactly get it right. But I just, like I said, I know normally when it's an interview, they ask them leading questions to go kind of say, yeah, it's always been a dream for you to play for Leicester, hasn't it? And they kind of go, oh, Premier League, yeah, and Leicester's a great. But he was taught the way he handled his interview and the way. I don't know if you've watched it, Chris. Go and watch it after we've discussed it here. The excitement in his face, he just looks so happy to be. Whether it's in Leicester in general, I know he talks about, and this just shows just how important Leicester winning things and breaking the footballing universe was, because his base mention was that he pretty much confessed he didn't really know anything about Leicester until they won the Premiership. It kind of shows you how important.
You kind of accept that, though, don't you? You know that's probably going to be the case. I just. Like I say, I'm just excited to see him here. And Amondi, he said earlier, trust in your scouting network. When have they failed you? Well, we could name a few, couldn't we? But we've got it. Thankfully, those that we've got right have well outweighed those that we've got wrong. And you could
argue the manager at the time has an influence on who you're looking for. I mean, a lot of them signings were perceived to be more Ranieri's choosing over the scouting. again,
Yes.
that's all hearsay, paper talk.
Well, no,
We don't
you would,
know the
you
dealings,
would
but
expect
again,
if you're a manager or a coach, and I know that we know that, some clubs sign players without consulting them, but as a manager, I used to manage a team of in a sales environment, and I would have hated my boss to have come and said, "You're having this person on your team," without consulting me. So, these managers, if they're worth the salt, and I'm just laughing at JJ's comment. I'll bring it up in a minute. But if these managers are worth the salt, they would have a say in who they get. Otherwise, you'd be buying play. And we saw it happen with Abramovich at Chelsea. Was it Shevchenko he signed, and the manager at the time didn't want him. But as JJ quite rightly says here, yeah, Gazelle. Can't argue with that.
Gazelle and Powell, they go in one together, don't they?
Yes, having said that, he's done well where he was. He just wasn't. The problem was, I think we just thought he was going to be the new Mahrez. He was never going to be, but no. Patson Daka, first of maybe a few coming in.
I mean, hopefully, obviously, at the start of this window, we heard about the Leon midfielder. Who, I'm not going to say his name because, as you can tell, I butcher names that I'm not confident with pronouncing. That seems to have gone quiet. I've not heard anything of that. That was one that was announced pretty much way before even Edward and Daka. So hopefully that's something we're announcing through. I don't know if there's been a bit of complications or if anyone's seen any tweets from anywhere saying otherwise or what's happened with that deal. But hopefully it's the start of a few deals to roll in at Leicester because, like we said, this was an area that we needed to buffer up, shall we say. This was an area where we needed that third man to buffer the strike force, and hopefully we can get a few more in to buffer it up. And I don't want to say it, but I think we could hear of a few outgoings over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure at some point we will be discussing the likes of maybe Benkovic and unfortunately maybe Dennis Pratt if the rumours that Arsenal are sniffing around him, which is kind of ironic with Arsenal in the most respectfulest way to Pratt. If you think about his order of the pecking order at Leicester, they've gone from asking about Maddison and then finding out they haven't got 7 million, let alone 70, to going, well, what about your third choice midfielder in Dennis Pratt? Yeah. Again, you agree with me, I'm sure, Chris, that we don't want him to go, but he seems to be one of the maybe the bigger names that we might lose out on.
I love Dennis Pratt, and I think but I understand that he doesn't want to be a squad player. It's okay. Yes. You've got your squad, but you always have your first 11. I mean, we do talk about Southgate having favourites, but every manager does. We know. Let's just go back to Taylor and Junior Lewis. My God, but you always think that Maddison, if he's fit, is going to get in over Dennis Pratt. Whether we can convince Pratt to stop because of the amount of games that we've got coming up next season, because he played more at the start of the season than he did at the end when we had more games and we had the more injuries. But that if Maddison is fit, he's going to be brought back in, unfortunately, because he's a game changer. I don't think Pratt's a game changer, but if he wants regular football, he might get that at Arsenal. I don't know, but I'd love to have him as part of the squad because we're going to need the squad. We're going to need that size of squad. I think Chowdhury's going to go, definitely.
Yeah, Chowdhury's a strong possibility. Sounds like Southampton are taking the lead in the race for Chowdhury by the sounds. I've seen a lot more reports of Southampton than Newcastle.
The comment there from Facebook user, I don't think we're going to get Robert Gosens, to be honest with you. That's all gone very quiet, but I don't think we're going to get him. I think he's been linked elsewhere as well. Bertrand's gone quiet, hasn't he, from Southampton?
Bertrand, I saw a couple of days ago. Actually, that kind of ebbs and flows. He's a free agent, though. That's the thing. He's going to have he's a reliable person. Personally, this might shock people. but I would rather hear us bringing Bertrand on a free than spend money on a player like Robin Gosen, or however you say his last name. See me and names do not go well together, as you can tell. I'm failing pronunciation.
No, the mix is you, names, and drink.
Yeah, pretty much in that order.
Yes.
But I don't think we need a player like Robin in from Atlanta. I get that he's a big name and he's quite a talent, but do you think with the seasons they've had for Leicester over their time, it would be fair to bring in someone of that quality, knowing you've got to knock down the pecking order, either Pereira, Castagne, James Justin, or Luke Thomas? I would rather, in the best terms of respect to him, bring in a 30-year-old Ryan Bertrand, who we know can do a job.
Yeah.
Who we know that if the
worry with Bertrand
together can play for 3 or 4 games. You know, he can enjoy a run of games, but knows that he's going to be the rotation player.
And he's got the experience.
Yeah,
and at his age, he probably couldn't do a full season now. Yeah,
and Gosens, if it's believed to be true, was waiting on us to get Champions League. I don't want a player to join Leicester if they're waiting on it, because we'll get another Mahrez then. I don't want that for the club. I think England tore him a new one yesterday by Luke Shaw. Just saying, if he beat him, then don't know what's promised to the Premier League.
Oh, allegedly. No, but the thing with Bertrand is, I think he wants 2 years, and I think we're offering him 1. So
yeah, which to me,
but he's got what I like. He's got the experience, and he's old enough to know that he can come in. And he will get games because we've got 40 games. People will get injured. People will get sent off.
Well, you'd hope not the latter, but you'd hope not the latter. But yeah, they will definitely get injured or need breaks at some point, won't they?
Mad Jason says here, so that is undergone now. Then Under's been gone for a while. Mad. He went at the end of the season, and I think when you look at the way Turkey played. I think you can see why we didn't sign him, to be honest with you. It was fun because when I was watching the Turkey games, it's the most I've seen underplay in individual games. I'm thinking you do flatter to deceive. But then again, I've got to be honest with you, if we hadn't already signed Soyuncu, I wouldn't necessarily have been over impressed with him
that's true.
In those games. JJ's asking here, and we mentioned this before, didn't we? What's happened with the Samari deal? That, as you said earlier, Brad, that was up there before the Daka deal. And according to our gentleman friend on Twitter, that's just a case of waiting to be signed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've not heard anything to suggest the deal's gone on. Sometimes these deals just take a while. I think maybe the process in dealing with a club, to the best disrespect, maybe the dealing was easier and less stressful, and maybe Leicester see it more urgent to get Daka in because they want the backup striker, they want the rotation striker. They know that Leicester know they need an extra striker. He's more important to the cause at Leicester to get the deal of Daka through. Not saying that necessity going.
I know what you mean. It was more of an urgency for a striker than it was for another midfielder.
And unlike Samore, Daka had the interest from Liverpool and other clubs, and there's no smoke without fire. No matter how strong these words, whether it was agents trying to drum it up and trying to get him a bigger move, Leicester know how to deal with this. They nipped it in the bud. They got him through the door. They signed the contract, and now they can maybe focus on getting this transfer completed from Lyon. You got to remember that they're probably even harder to negotiate with in terms of they might want salon fees and everything, mightn't they? Because they've just won the league as well.
Yeah, I think it was Leo, wasn't it, that he's
it was.
David says there, Goosen is a good player, and yes, like I say, I wouldn't normally have him, but somebody who doesn't want to come to Leicester, and this was the difference when you look at Daka, like you said earlier, he's happy to be here, he wants to be here. how many players do clubs sign? And there's that famous one, I don't know who it was, that Everton signed in January, last deadline day deal, and he looked totally miserable as he was posing as Everton. He obviously didn't want to be there. Yeah, so Guzon's, if he didn't want to come because we're not in the Champions League, we don't want him. And to me, Ryan Bertrand's a good fill there until we get James Justin back. Patson, I always want to say Patson, Zambian. We're going to struggle, aren't we, when we have the African League of Nations, whatever it is, comes round.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna end up having to put out our under-23s maybe when we play in mid-December.
I don't mean that horribly in saying like we shouldn't sign African players. It's just that the African tournament is held during the season, where the Euros is always obviously held like now, off season, and at this rate we're going to lose half the team. Yeah, which is a good thing. In a sense that it shows that we've got the quality of players that get picked to go to these major tournaments. And it's also even more pivotal that Leicester make sure they have these players in and they're constantly increasing the numbers. It's like I just said, if you heard my point, David, I understand. If you said to me which one's better, hands down, I would sign Gozan. I would sign him because he's a better quality player. My theory is that maybe Ryan Bertrand fits what is needed for that position, because like you said, he's a quality player, and yes, we don't have JJ fit until at least November, so you're probably talking he doesn't get up to max fitness till about December when the fixture lists pile on, and he'll need to be fit and ready before then. But Bertrand gets told, right, we've got a couple of games, Castagne's a bit leggy, Thomas is a bit leggy, we need you to play on a run of games for us over the next 7 or 8 games. Yeah.
Rod Goosen is going to come in and say, I'm the number one. Nobody's taking my spot. I'm here. If I'm signing for you, I'm coming here to play every week. Unless I'm injured, nobody's taking my spot. Whereas Leicester don't need that. They've got 4.
Making your number one.
Yeah. But and that's good. He's a quality player. He comes with the expectation, and he deserves to have that number one player when he joins up. Whereas Leicester don't need that. My point was more to the fact that Bertrand suits what he's needed for.
Yes, I agree.
100%. Get them 6-7 games.
I'd be more than happy with Bertrand, to be honest with you. And I just want to make this point now, and I'm just going to go off topic for a bit, but this is something that's come up with a good friend on Twitter. And Leicester Till I Die will always support, and will always back to stop online abuse. It's too much. It's still going on. It's pathetic. It's stupid. And you've got people that come on, make accounts just to be insulted. And, at the end of the day, it's childish. You're cowards, you're bullies, and you're not worth wiping my arse with your paper, to be honest with you. So Leicester Till I Die, we totally support stop online abuse. And I should just say, if you are on Twitter or Facebook, but just for Twitter at the moment, you can go on under your settings and into your privacy and settings and actually put keywords in there that you don't want to see. So I've gone on there, for example, and put the F word in there. So if anybody comes onto Twitter, sends me a tweet, adds a message into a thread that I'm on, or anything like that includes the F word, I don't see it. And what I don't see doesn't bother me. So I recommend everybody to go on to that. And you can do the same with your Facebook settings as well. You can stop seeing posts that include these words. And like I say, if somebody is trying to have a go at me and saying these horrible words, if I can't see it, it isn't going to bother me. And you're just pissing in the wind, basically. That's all you're doing. But like I say, we do, as a channel, as a group, we do here totally back stop online abuse. In fact, stop any abuse in any form, in any walk of life. We're still bending the knee for a reason. It has to stop. Thanks for letting me say that, Brad. I do apologise for jumping in on you there.
No, it's said, mate. Well said.
Yeah, so like I say, it's going to be interesting come the January transfer window. But let's hope it's the first of a few to get in. It is definitely exciting me.
Yeah, it is one that's exciting. It's not a Ryan Bennett of the era where we all put our heads in our hands and wonder why we bothered. This is one that Leicester fans got excited by.
We would have been better signing his brother Gordon, wouldn't we? Yeah. Tommy, good evening. I mean, can I just say, Tommy talks balls and you're a Spurs fan. I don't know whether you're trying to say something there. Check the channel out though. It's a great channel. Tommy Talks Balls. It's a Spurs channel, but he does a lot of football stuff as well. We did actually mention that before, Tommy. You know, he could be another, but I think Brendan has got the sense to play a player where he's only played players out of position when he's had to. Not because he just thinks that, you know, he's going to stick Musa on the wing when he's a striker. Tommy says he'll be happier when you don't get Nuno. You won't get him because you've got, I mean, you know, you're down to your 10th choice already. As I often say with Spurs, you'd be easier trying to go out there and find Wally than a new manager. Yeah.
Sam Allardyce.
He's out of work. He's out of work. Luca's life. Hi, Luca. How you doing? Oh, sorry, Tommy. Ball, not balls. I didn't realise you walked with a limp. Luca, you're not. I say we've got all the London fans coming in. They've obviously decided they want to come and see what's happening at a good.
You know, these Spurs and Arsenal fans, bless them, they don't get to see big signings for big clubs these days, do they? Right, so they've got to come on to our channel and see it. Hi guys, love you really. You know it.
We do love you really. All these guys, all good for banter. But I say do and check Luca's live. Check that out as well. And Melina, she has her own YouTube channel under Miss Melina. I don't think I've missed anybody else out that's got a channel in here. A Monday. What is it? The United Agenda, I think a Monday is. I can't remember them all. I'm old. That's excusing. Yeah. Tommy, you can have Ryan Bennett if you want. Hey, is Peter Taylor still managing?
Oh, don't. I mean, I know we give Spurs banter, but I won't wish him on anybody. Not even Derby, for Christ's sake.
You could get Junior Lewis as well. Buy one, get one free.
You buy one. Yeah, it's like an idiot sale, isn't it? You buy one, you get one free. I said, you buy one, you get one free.
Hey, don't knock him. He's a big Burnley fan, that guy.
Oh, leave him alone then.
Brad, we're going to be back. We're going to be back a bit later tonight, 8:30.
Yes,
and we are going to be picking our fantasy team. So there's 3 of you coming in. You've had 100 million to spend on a 4-4-2. I hope you got your team prepared. I have.
I'm ready to announce it when it comes on.
I've got to decide between the 3 of you who is the best.
I might have to make a last-minute change if the app's updated and put a Daka in there. I might have to see if I can. I don't want to spoil things. I might put him in my
adapt to Daka. You got to adapt to Daka.
Yeah. As the Aussies would say, it's Akadaka.
See you at 8:30, Brad. Thanks very much for doing this.
No
Daka's at Leicester. We've got a sign in. The first one's through the door.
Daka will do nicely.
And let's not remember, for any Scots and Welsh fans watching, it's coming home. Cheers, Brad. See you at 8:30.
See you later.
Cheers. Oh, thanks. Not only thanks for Brad for joining me there, but thanks for Brad for giving me a kick up the arse and saying, "Oi, do you know we've signed Patson?" Because I didn't. I was completely doing something else. So we're back at 8:30 with that. I'm going to be on Turf Moorhouse TV at 7, doing a review of the game last night. That'd be fun to do. And I'm going to be at about 10:45. I'm on a Chelsea fan site talking again about the England game. We can't talk enough about it. We beat the Germans. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Tune in 7 o'clock, Turf Moorhouse TV. Catch me on there, or I'll see you.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
At 8:30 tonight. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. Come on, Daka.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share and get involved. Join us next time.